Give me 1 second. Alright, we up in here. What's good, everybody? What's good, what's good? I think this may be a little too dark. Let me change the effect real quick. Hold on. This may be a little too dark. Yeah, that's cool. Alright. Here we go. Alright, y'all already know who it is. Asharenu, we back in here once again. So, today we're going to talk about the 2020 consciousness. I see everybody, people are already in the chat. What's up to everybody in the chat? I'm also going to give a short reading from the tarot as well, just to add on to what we'll be talking about. We're going to try to sum this up in under 30 minutes. I'm going to try to get up out of here under 30 minutes. Alright, let's get to it. So as we know, that is another thing I wanted to talk about first, before we even get into this. Because this does tie into the whole thing. So I've had this skull over here a few days now, and I have discovered a magical property about the skulls that may not be, well known, so I will reveal it here. What I've noticed is whenever I meditate and I put the skull in front of me to the point where it's looking at me, so I'm looking directly at the skull, so it's like we're looking at each other. Or if I'm facing this way, I have it this way. I just make sure that the skull is facing me, in whatever direction. I've noticed that it helps me get into a deeper meditation. It helps me get into a deeper meditation. So I started to think, why is that? What is it about? It's the symbol. You know what I mean? It's the symbolism of what the skull represents. When you have a symbol of something, it allows you to tap into the energy that it pulls down from the celestial plane, right? Okay, so what energy is the skull pulling down from the celestial plane? Of course, the energy of Scorpio, right? The energy of death. When we go into the tarot card, Scorpio represents the death card, the 13th card, right? Or the 13th major trump card from the major arcana, to be technical. So when you have a skull, again, most people just do these things for like Halloween, and the reason people utilize all that, all the so-called sinister stuff and dead stuff and skulls and skeletons, and people have on costumes looking like demons, it represents the gateway to the underworld is opening. So you have the solar months, then you have the lunar months. Once we go into November, December, January, February, those are the lunar months. It's very cold, it's winter. People are more so inside of their homes. It's not really too much going on because of weather. Depending on, where you may be on the earth. Now, between October 31st and November 1st, you can say it's the gateway, so that they say the veils are opened after that. After October 31st, the veils that separate the dimensions, the various dimensions, the veil that separates the various dimensions are pretty much, you can say that the veil is so thin that it's easier to detect spiritual communications in those lunar months, in those darker months. And of course, that's when the winter solstice happens, around December 23rd. which is, you know, these are the rituals that you would do, you know, for the dark side, or, you know, anything working with darker energies is happening around the winter solstice time. You know, just to put things into perspective. Okay, so because the skull is channeling the celestial energy of Scorpio, and we know Scorpio is a water sign. So normally we don't necessarily associate death with water, but death has a connection with water. So it's able to take you into the depths of yourself, because this is it pretty much, it channels in the energy of water. Now, of course, it looks scary. Most people probably wouldn't have that again unless it's Halloween or something. They're okay with it then, but any other time you probably won't find that just laying around someone's house. But it channels the energy of Scorpio, which is the energy of death, which is a watery energy. So when you place the connection with water and death, you can say when a person dies, it's as if, because people will, you know, inquiring minds will like to know, well, what is death? How does somebody experience death? That means they are overtaken by those waters. In other words, it's as if you become a part of the, you just start feeling, it's like being, you're laying at a beach, and the tide is getting closer and closer to you, to eventually it completely overtakes you, and you become one with the flow of the tide. It's a very, very beautiful thing once observed, and remove your emotion from it. Once you remove the emotions, it's a very, very beautiful thing. It's a very, very beautiful, you know, energy to feel. You know, most people associate the energy of death with something sinister or bad or negative, but all things are dualistic. It has a positive energy and a negative energy. So when we look at the polarity of death and we look at the beauty of it, it allows us to go deeper into the depths. All the things that are scary, that brings all of that out. Fear, right? Whatever fears you may have, you channel in the energy of death. It helps you to, you know, smooth all that out. Anything that, you know, is causing you to have an imbalance within, this is basically the symbol you will use to face your fears. In other words, whatever fears you need to face, you know what I mean, this is why you will have a skull around, just to always face your fears. Because, you know, if you open your eyes, you're going to see a skull looking at you. So what would you rather do? Open your eyes and have a skull looking at you, or just keep your eyes closed and explore your internal chambers, your inner chambers, your 36 chambers? Right? So it's just kind of a thing to help program the subconscious mind. So that's what I've noticed personally, you know, working with that. I'm like, oh, okay, death actually has a connection with water, so it allows you to go into those inner chambers that you normally may not go through. Like, you know, the dream world has been a little hectic for me personally lately. I haven't been having the most crazy dreams. But I'm like, okay, let me go to sleep with the skull facing me. So whenever I open my eyes, I'm looking at the skull. And last night I actually had a very vivid dream to the point I still remember it now. So I'm like, okay. So the same way I be telling people, put a bowl of water or a cup of water under your bed or above your head to enhance your dreams, I'm like, okay, that skull serves the same purpose. So this is just, you know, I'm just giving out examples to how to utilize the symbols, how to connect the earthly symbols with some type of celestial energy, so you know that what type of energy it pulls down from the ether. So and once you're able to piece these things together, you know how to enhance certain things, or if you want to decrease certain things, decrease your lunar energy, enhance your solar energy, or decrease your solar energy, enhance your lunar energy. Whatever it is you're trying to do, there's a symbol that will help you unlock that aspect in your mind. So once you connect with the symbol, and the symbol is in connection with whatever you're trying to accomplish, and there you go. So this is how you tie the celestial plane with the earthly plane, with symbolism. And the connection that symbolism has with the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind speaks in the form of symbols. So that symbol has a direct connection to the subconscious mind. It's like a gateway. The symbol serves as a gateway to have a direct connection to the subconscious mind. Therefore, you are reprogramming yourself based on where you are setting your attention. And as you know, no video is complete without the sirens. Right? That's how you know it's some real gateways opening up, right? Y'all been paying attention long enough, you know, sirens is always going off when we're recording. You know, that means the gateways is opening up. So, all right. So let's go to the 2020 consciousness. So now that we laid the foundation, because the reason I brought all this up is because it's 2020. So when we look at just the numerology, before we even go into the science of any of it, let's look at the numerology. You got 2020. So you got 2 2s and 2 ciphers, or 2 zeros. These are feminine energies. You know, the 0, of course, can be representation of a womb, so that's a feminine energy. Then you got the 2, which is, of course, the energy of the moon, or wisdom, which are feminine energies. Because you have to be, you could say, you have to be receptive to wisdom. Wisdom ain't something that you can just go hard and go find it and all that. And masculine energy, wisdom is you have to be receptive to it. It's, you know what I mean? You have to train yourself differently to be receptive to things, as well as when it's the time to be masculine and go out and actually do certain things, you know, alter the matter in the material universe, so on and so forth. So certain things, when it comes to the intangible reality, is based in wisdom, and certain things in the materialized reality is based in masculinity. Just to give you an example of how the different energies work. So when we have the 2020, so you can say that's wisdom cipher. If we take it to the supreme mathematics, that's wisdom cipher, wisdom cipher. So the wisdom is always contained within those 360 degrees that make up a circle. So each of those 360 degrees represent an aspect of wisdom. So you can say any cipher that you are present in, whatever cipher that you are present in, has 360 degrees of wisdom present within it. So you can sit in whatever seat you're in, or whatever atmosphere you may find yourself in, whether you're at the park, you're inside, you're outside, there are 360 degrees of wisdom present in whatever cipher that we place ourselves in. So we can always put ourselves in a meditative state or a receptive state and receive wisdom no matter where we are. So we always have the ability to tap into wisdom, to tap into your intuition, to tap into your clairvoyance. This is the time of clairvoyance. So going into the 2020, the clairvoyance, because remember 2020 also resonates with your eyesight. 2020 sight is, you know, to say, I believe it's your perfect sight. That 2020 vision. 2020 vision is just a code word for clairvoyance. Moving forward, the clairvoyance is going to be a lot more active. The energies, because it's 2020. So we got this double lunar energy. So the clairvoyance is going to happen a lot more naturally, to the point where you may not even need symbols or sigils. Some people may, some people may not. We may just have poetic dreams that have layers of wisdom present within it on an everyday basis. So this is what I'm saying. What we're doing right now, we're just catching up to everything that has been discussed in the 20th century, and beforehand, we're just summing it all up, because now that we're in the 21st century, again, there was a huge difference from the year 1999 going into 2000. We didn't just go from one year to another year. We went from one century to a brand new century. You went to a whole nother century. That's why the energies are so different. You know, that's why, it's hard for the youth to relate with the elders, because this is a very unique time in history, going from a century to another century. So we literally are in a different energy completely. It ain't just, okay, just going from one year to another. This is why a lot of people are having a hard time relating, because life was literally completely different 50 years ago. Life is going to be completely different 50 years in the future, and so on and so on and so on. But people in the future are still going to be in the 21st century. So the gap won't be as different, because they're going to be way more advanced in technology. But if you are in the 21st century, you at least have an idea about technology, so it won't be so far-fetched. Versus in the 20th century, none of this was even thought of at one point. Versus, you can at least predict, okay, well, in 50 years in the future, it's probably going to be some advanced technology. You can at least make that prediction, and it'll be an accurate prediction. Let's get back to it. So the 2020, it's a super lunar energy. So it's going to bring in those lunar waters. It's going to bring in those lunar tides. So it's going to enhance the clairvoyance. It's going to enhance the astrals and the dream and all that. So as we go into the, remember, and so we know that we have 10 years. From the year 2000 to 2010 had a certain energy. The year 2010 to the year 2020 is going to have a certain energy. The energy of the 2020 is going to be way more lunar. So you can say during the 10 years from 2020 to 2030, during that 10-year period, it's the beginning. Because if you want to know how something is going to end, you have to know its beginning. If you want to understand the end days, we hear a lot of people say we are in the end days. But what does that really mean? You're not going to understand the end if you don't understand the beginning. So this is essentially to understand how that energy is going to translate for those next 10 years. You have to understand the beginnings or the origins. And the origins is going to be a lot of lunar energy, a lot of emotional energy. So you can say it may be a lot more trauma going on, whether real life or is being placed in your subconscious by, an alternative force. However it's going down, whether the stories are made up or real, it's going to be, we think it's bad now to where every day you flick on the news and you see all type of crazy stuff. It's going to be even more crazier, because the tides, those waters are going to come in. And for those who are receptive to those spiritual waters that's going to come in, you're going to have your abilities are going to activate. Everything is going to come online, because you're going to be more in the lunar world. The lunar energy is going to be so enhanced. And the energy is going to be directed towards, remember, the zeros, the ciphers, internal, those 360 degrees of wisdom that can be found in any situation. Because you can either look within yourself or outside of yourself. When you look inside of yourself, go into a meditation and place your concentration on one of your chakras. Just to give you a technique. Go internal, just get into a meditation position or lay down and focus on one of the 7 chakras. And just feel the energy of it. Just get familiar with the vortex and just how it feels, how that energy feels. Just get a feel for it. And start to enhance it. Like, okay, can I manipulate this feeling? Can I make it bigger? Can I make it smaller? Can I make it wider? How much influence do I have over this energy? Then you start to, just realize, like, you can actually you can influence your chakras directly. Utilizing your mind, just getting into a meditation state of mind, or be receptive to wisdom. That's essentially all meditation is, without making it all crazy. Meditation is being receptive to wisdom. That's always around us. That's to keep it as basic as possible. And those ciphers, you can say, are the 7 chakras, those 7 vortexes, those 7 wheels. Chakra means wheel, so that means it's always in motion. So these 7 vortexes. So that lunar energy, that clairvoyance, being directed into those 7 internal vortexes is going to lead you to various sources of wisdom on the internal level, and you can do the same thing externally outside of yourself. Because again, you can observe your surroundings and collect information, collect data, and it can turn into, you can apply this data that's being collected in a way that will lead to great things. If you plant certain seeds in the summertime, that are supposed to be planted in the summertime, when it's time for them to harvest, you will have a lot to collect. You will have an abundance of material or resources. But if you try to plant seeds in the wrong seasons, you're not going to reap anything. So it's just all about when we understand. This is why I'm reading the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Hopefully everybody is following along with the series. That numbers have an intelligence. I've been saying this for years. But I'm reading this source material, so you don't have to take my word for it. You see that this information predates everything that's being said, and it's just being rehashed in today's times. So just to make that clear, so once we study the beginning, we can understand where we're going. Because again, 2020 seems like a futuristic thing, but whenever we want to think about the future, all we have to do is think about the beginning. The beginning, the further we go back, we see that ancient things are very futuristic. Ancient does not mean primitive. Ancient does not mean cave people living in forests and swamps, living in mud huts. People think, oh, that's ancient. That's not ancient. That's more recent. People still live like that to this day. So that really has nothing to do with time. People still live in the wild, in the forests to this day. People still live in tents to this day. So that has nothing to do with time. Like, oh, that's just how they did it at that time. No, that's just how those particular people did at that time. But there was always various levels of civilization. So you can say that's just one aspect of civilization. But then you had advanced civilizations in ancient times, which will be futuristic to us. If we were to look back, you're like, yo, that's not primitive. Or they're using things like telekinesis. They're using things like clairvoyance. They have abilities like clairaudience. They can speak to each other in various languages. They actually just know how to use their minds. And that leads to them creating tools that extend the use of their mind. So if we're only utilizing 10% of the mind, let's just say they were using 85. You ain't even got to say it's 100. But even if they was using 85% of their mind, so they will have advanced tools because they're utilizing more of their mind, so they can do more things versus people who's only using 10%. So if we look back, it's going to be futuristic because they're utilizing more of their mind. That magic science. The brain has a scientific aspect, but the brain also has a magical aspect, and it's separated in today's times. It's like over here, you got the spiritual people, then over there, you got the scientific people. It's separated when it is truly one and the same. So when we view magic and science as one and the same, then we start to see the true reality of who and what we are and our relationship to everything around us. Consciousness, to truly explore the various levels of consciousness. Consciousness, subconscious, unconscious, superconscious, magnetic conscious, infinite conscious. These are various levels of consciousness. You can say infinite consciousness is to be one with the all. To be one with what we consider to be God, that the idea of God. Meaning there is no separation. Anything that you think manifests instantaneously. Therefore, you are never at lack. Whatever you want, whatever you can place your mind upon, you instantly, you can say, get the sensation. So this is what we do when we practice meditation. We practice how to get certain sensations. For example, when you meditate, if you was concentrating on your heart chakra, you would say, I want to feel the sensation of love. So that's not somebody who's, okay, I need to seek out a lover. I want a lover, so I'm going to do a love spell. Or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. No, we start internally first. Before we start seeking anything, we become receptive. The receptivity is, I want, not even that you want. Activate the sensation of love. Then there are certain glands that will secrete certain chemicals into your bloodstream, and you would feel the sensation of love. So that should make you realize, like, oh, this is all internal. So when somebody else makes me feel love, I still feel that internally. So they're just triggering something that happens on an internal level. I'm just giving them, oh, it's because of them, it's because of them. No, they just trigger an internal sensation that we just don't know how to do ourselves. So that's why people seek out love, because they don't know how to trigger those internal sensations by themselves. They need some type of external stimulation to trigger those internal sensations. However, when we learn how to do it ourselves, we start to see that, okay, it's not the lover, it's the sensation of love that I want to feel. So I can trigger that within myself, utilizing my mind, pranayama, moving the energy, moving the chi around me, and, you know, creating a ball of energy in the heart area. And I can expand, make that wheel go faster, expand it, then boom, release that energy, and I feel the sensation of love. So now I am not in want. I'm not seeking anything. I am feeling the sensation of love. And this can apply to any of the 7 chakras. So whatever we're trying to go out and seek, we're really just seeking the sensation. We're just looking for triggers that trigger sensations on an internal level, which we can do ourselves, but that's the whole matrix. If you knew how to do this yourself, then you would not be a consumer. You would not be out here seeking anything, because you are fulfilled. And on an internal level, you are following your heart, right? You are following your heart. Therefore, your mind and your thoughts begin to be directed in places that everybody else's will never explore, because they're like, oh, I need to be in a relationship, I need to make more money, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, when really they just want to feel certain sensations. And once they become filled with those sensations, then they will have a different perspective. All right, that probably just wasn't as important as I thought. Now that I feel those internal, now that I feel fulfilled within, all of that external stuff just maybe is not as important as I think it is. You begin to look at things a lot more grand, a lot more broad. You broaden your perspective when you are internally filled up. So we are 27 minutes. So again, I said I want to keep it under 30 minutes. So hopefully that's making sense. 2020, internal sensations, being able to activate and trigger these things for ourselves so that we're not putting it on nobody else's shoulder. Because we are complete within ourselves. We are complete within ourselves, first and foremost. Then, so you take the energy of completion into life versus taking the energy of lack into life. I'm lacking something, so I need to go get it. Versus I am complete. So now I'm just playful with life because I'm already filled. My sensations are already fulfilled. I'm just having fun. There's a difference. It's all of the same scale. It's just the polarity of the same scale, right? This is go this way, or take that middle point, right? So hopefully it's making sense. Hopefully everybody, followed along. Just giving y'all insight into 2020. So definitely like the video if I shed some light on some darkness for you. Definitely check out the description below. And again, I appreciate everybody tuning in. All right. Let me see. So I see everybody. Let me see. Are there any questions? All right, we have a couple questions. So of course let me hit these questions before we get out of here. Of course I'm gonna get the questions. Let's see. Yo, how do you know how to find lost items? Lost items is more so being receptive. We program, let's just say your car keys. You build a connection with your car keys, right? So you have programmed your car keys. So your car keys contains your energy signature because you use this on a daily basis. So When you misplace your car keys, it's just a simple act of, let me find my energy signature, because it's already, your energy signature is already in your car keys, for example. So it's just all about, you want to be able to be receptive to the energy signature. It's not really something that you seek out. Be receptive. Become receptive to the wisdom. Become receptive to your energy signature, and you will be able to find that which you seek. It's all about receptivity. Receptivity, that's the key word. All right. Definitely the age of space beings returning. Space beings returning. Well, it's not really that they're returning, it's really that they have always been here. The space beings didn't go anywhere. They've always been. Right? We've always been here. There was never a time where consciousness was not. We've always been here. Beyond time. We're just slowly awakening to that realization that we've always been here. So if you don't become enlightened and you learn something new, you become enlightened and you just start to study what has already been. And that's another thing, I hit this quick point, because everybody's searching for the new thing. What's going to be the new trend? What's going to be the new this? What's going to be the new that? It's not about the new. It's about studying what's already present. Once you understand what's already present, then you know how to manipulate the resources because they're already there. Remember, energy cannot be created or destroyed. So anybody who's just fastening on the new this new equipment, this new technology, this new phone, this new this. There's no such thing as new. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transmuted. So you're more focused on, let me look at these resources I already have available to me, and let me try to find new uses for them. Let me try to find new uses for things that I already have, versus I need this. Let me try to find these new uses. That's the expansion of consciousness. It's not that you can detect new ideas and new this and new this. No, you just realize that I already have everything. I just need to place them in their proper order, learn how to utilize these things more efficiently so that I can expand my consciousness, versus I need this equipment, or I need a camera, I need this, I don't have the money, so I can't do it. I'm like, nah, okay, I got a phone in my pocket, I just need to learn how to use it so that it can become a stream of consciousness for me by proper usage of this technology, versus just making calls and texting. You are taking things a lot more, you're taking things further, so there you go. Why is it that every night I have a dream of someone trying to kill me? Because it's a part of you that wants to die. Get you one of these. Get you one of these. They're not expensive. Again, you don't need to have, a certain material, none of that. Go to the 99-cent store, go to Walmart, go to Kmart, Target, whatever is within your convenience. Get you one of those and practice the technique that I laid out in the beginning of the video. So it is a part of you that's trying to either get your attention, or a part of you that no longer it needs to be released. A certain aspect of you is trying to be released. It needs to renew, a sense of renewal. So definitely, I would suggest you work with the energy of death. Work with the energy of Scorpio. Study it. The energy of transmutation. Because remember, energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed. Scorpio is all about transmutation. That's because it deals with the energy of death and rebirth. The transmutation, they are one and the same. So it deals with, those aspects. So of course, definitely don't be afraid. Deal with the fears. So there's some type of fear, some type of inner fear that needs to be dealt with. So this is why you would channel the energy of death, to deal with those fears and to deal with the things that keep you bound to the earth so that you can express yourself in your fullest expression. There you go. How do you feel being born in 1990, born into the new century? Well, that's where I feel like I've always been in this frequency. I feel like the 90s is like those from 1990 to 2000 was like, those 10 years was all about technology. It was all about technology. So being born in 1990 was just, that was like, to me, it was like the beginning. It was the beginning of what was to come. So 1990 was just, you know, it wasn't too long before you started seeing people with cell phones and pagers. Like, I was seeing that growing up. So I was seeing technology. I was playing video games, Super Nintendo. You know what I mean? So whatever the wave was, I was right there. Sega Genesis, Nintendo 64, you know what I mean? It was right there. When things was dropping, we was right on the pulse of it. So I feel like I've always been in this frequency because this is how it is now. It's being on the pulse of things, right? And I feel like the 90s was the beginning of that wave, when it was just being born. It was being, nurtured all the way from the 1950s. Like, this futuristic thought comes from the 1950s, after World War II, after, I'm not even going to get into the occult aspect of it, because that's a whole nother video. Again, we're trying to keep this short, but again, let us continue. So to answer your question, 1990 would definitely be the beginnings of what we see now. All right. I think the audio, to fix the audio, I believe the audio is good. Drop some more tracks, in time, because I have to constantly change my style, That's another thing. Since we want to bring up hip-hop is the same way. Hip-hop seems to be futuristic, right? Hip-hop seems to be in the future, but it's really just transmuting the energies of the now. In other words, it ain't about the new style. It's about transmuting your style. Once you have a style, you have to constantly transmute it. Because if you don't, then it stays stagnant. So you can't have the same style you did last year. You got to constantly be changing your style. You have to evolve. Evolution isn't new anything. It's just you're transmuting your energy. That's what hip-hop is. Whether you are spitting lyrics, whether you doing the B-boy and the B-girl, whether you the DJ, the graffiti artist, so on and so forth, the B-boxer, right? You're transmuting your style. You're always sharpening your steel. Right? That's the name of the game, transmuting your style, which appears to be new to everyone else, but to you, you understand the process. You have transmuted it. So I have to constantly renew my style. So that's why I'm not just so quick to just drop music like everybody else is. I'm like, yo, whenever I drop, it's not going to sound anything like the previous. Like, it's constantly evolving. Like, if you listen to my music, you see that the style keeps changing, right? I keep transmuting it. So when I drop, it has to be a whole nother energy, which isn't the easiest thing to do, but it's definitely a fun process. Just tapping into that creativity. So I like to take my time with that. I'm not in no rush to drop music. I'm not trying to get on and get heard, and I need my music out. I make music, because it comes from the heart. I'm not making music from what it can necessarily bring me. Like, I'm trying to make millions, and just straight from the heart. So when I drop it, it has to come from the heart. So the heart is on its own time, you can say. The heart is on its own time, and there's no need to rush it. No need to rush it. All right. Do I take Monotonic Gold? No, I don't. L Fresh as Hell was a smash hit. That's what I'm saying. I agree. When I made that, I had to listen to it like 20, 30 times. Because I'm like, yo, it was for the moment, I would say. It was right. I felt like I tapped into that particular style at that particular moment. I feel like I embodied that style for that time. So that's when I always try to do that. I always try to embody the particular styles at that particular time, which is basically just being fully in the moment. I like to be as fully in the moment as possible. That's why even now, again, I don't even write my lyrics anymore, because I'm like, if I really want to be in the moment, I have to pull directly from the ethers. I don't have time to write 16 bars. I'm like, it's just one at a time. We pull this, piece this together, I'm doing everything mental now because I have to stay completely in the moment. Meaning, as we say, 2020, that clairvoyance is gonna be enhanced. All these mental, we're gonna be utilizing more of our minds. Less technology, more mind. More mind, less technology. Because the mind is the true technology is the mind. Not the phone, not the TV, you know what I mean, not the video games, it's the mind. The mind is the true technology. Right? So there we go. I appreciate that, Adriana. So again, unless anybody have any more questions, we can get up out of here. You know, I feel like I was able to, you know, condense it. 40 minutes, that's pretty good. Definitely giving something new to the world takes time, absolutely. And there's no rush, you know what I mean? There's no rush. And I have nothing against people who want to constantly put out music as well, you know? I know everybody has their own style. Some people work slower, some people work faster. You know, good music can come from either way, whatever styles. And that's the genius, and that's the beauty about having a style, because it, you know, everybody has their place within the celestial plane. Everybody has their place. Nobody is trumping anybody else's light. Everybody can do their own thing, especially nowadays, right? Yeah, definitely no lyrics. You know, we definitely in the time of no lyrics. No lyrics. It all got to be in a moment. It got to come directly from thought, because time is speeding up. Time is speeding up. So we have to be in tune with that speed. So it ain't about you need to type faster, you need to text faster, you need to do this. No, you need to utilize more mind power, being able to memorize things by heart. That's what it is. You want to become receptive. You have to utilize your heart. I know about heart. I know about heart. How much do we know about heart? How much do you truly know about heart? And if you don't really know too many things about heart, if you want to increase your heart consciousness, you have to know things about heart. You have to speak from the heart. You have to be in tune with your heart, your heart's consciousness. You have to be in tune. There's just no other way around it, right? So, I was going to do a tarot reading, but y'all let me know. We don't even have to get into that. You know, we can leave that for another time. I think I did it justice. If y'all want it, y'all let me know. But otherwise, so we'll get up out of here. We'll leave that for now. We'll keep that sacred, and we'll save it for another time. But also, all right, I'll do one card. I'll do one card, and we'll get out of here. So we'll do the single card. All right, boom. Happiness. The 9 of Cups. Happiness. Is that not what we've been talking about the whole time? Follow your heart. This is you reaping the rewards of following your heart. Remember, we were talking about being able to stimulate love yourself. Being able to stimulate self-love, and now this is the orgasm, right? That's the orgasm. When you fill yourself up with self-love and the energy explodes, it's the equivalent to having an orgasm, right? That orgasmic energy, that creamy energy, right? Remember they say cream of the planet, cream of the crop, cream, 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 the milk, the honey, right? That's that cream is being produced, right? So that's not just the clear waters, that's those creamy waters, those milky waters, right? So there we go. So we'll keep it there. So we'll definitely be here tomorrow. We may get back into the Emerald Tabs of Thought. We may not. We just remember we're taking it from a day-to-day basis. So I'm not doing a bunch of pre-recorded videos and just putting them out like that. No, we in the moment. We live. We here every day, and we gonna be here in tune with the moment. You know what I mean? So much love to everybody. I'll see y'all tomorrow.